Okay, committee will come to order. The bill for our consideration is House Bill 10, tribal reference amendments from the Select Committee on Tribal Relations. Senator Ellis, would you like to lead us through this bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill comes to you after some work that was done in your Select Committee on Tribal Relations over the interim. And as someone who works in this space, there are often times where we look at programs that affect the Eastern Shoshone or Northern Arapaho tribes. And we started noticing some inconsistencies throughout all of our statutes. We also found some areas where things were misspelled. And then the proper name of the Wind River Indian Reservation is just that, but there are places in our statute that just would refer to the Wind River Reservation. And so what this bill seeks to do, Mr. Chairman, is provide consistency throughout Wyoming's statutes. So I would direct you though to page 3 of the bill. Here we have a reference to a cooperative tribal governing body. You might recall that years ago, the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribes had operated together under a joint business council when they needed to make joint decisions. That entity dissolved for a number of years, but now they've reconvened and now they refer to themselves as an intertribal council. And so what we sought to do with this language, Mr. Chairman, is have a kind of catch-all cooperative tribal governing body, so that if the intertribal council dissolves at some point, but maybe regroups as an affiliated band of tribes or something along those lines, that this would be covered. And so there are a few, I mean, this is a long bill. We could walk through it page by page, but I don't think that serves a great purpose. A couple of other things to note though, you'll see that we tried to put Eastern Shoshone first and then Northern Arapaho, just because Eastern Shoshone had the original treaty with the US government. But there is some reference, Mr. Chairman, that pertains to education and why I think it's good that it's here. If you go to page 12, here's where we talk about boards of trustees and their duties when it comes to providing certain instruction. And so we made some changes talking about world languages instead of foreign languages, just kind of recognizing that the languages of our tribes are not foreign to these lands. I'm just trying to think. So that was one change that we made. Just kind of walking through again on page 17, you'll see reference to, again, more world languages when it comes to certification for teachers. And let's see, more throughout your education title and title 21, going on to page 18, page 19, page 20, 21. And that really is meant to include the Shoshone and Arapaho languages. So you'll see we deliberately on page 21, lines 3 and 4, we didn't refer to the official tribal name. The Shoshone language, there are different bands of Shoshone and Arapaho. So there we just referred to those languages as Shoshone and Arapaho languages. So that's the bill, Mr. Chairman. I will continue to walk through it, but the only other thing I'd add is there are a few places on page 25 that make reference to the Shoshone Indian Reservation. And we didn't change these because this refers to the acceptance of the Bighorn Hot Springs, the naming of the park in that area. And those original treaties did refer to the Shoshone Indian Reservation. So we use the term historic Shoshone Reservation just so that people have a sense of that history. And so that's the only area where we didn't change it to Wind River. That's the bill, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any public comment? And then we'll have to deal with this amendment. Yes, sir.
Senator Scott, Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to testify today. My name is Travis McNiven here on behalf of the Northern Arapaho Business Council. Certainly appreciative of all of the work that Senator Ellis and Representative Larson, as chairs of the Tribal Relations Committee, did this past. Oh, and Senator Salazar, as a member of that committee, did in over the interim. This, as was noted, cleans up, corrects some spelling, adds flexibility, and just generally cleans up the state statutes as it references our two sovereign governments there on the Wind River Reservation, and fully support the bill. Thank you.
Questions? Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Kari Akins, the Wyoming Department of Education. Just want to thank the committee for hearing this bill because it does provide some very good alignment with other things within education. Specifically, the changes in your education statutes, Title 21 from foreign language to world language, aligns with a change that was already made several years ago in the world of teacher certification. They are certified in a world language. And we also have another bill that the Senate already passed this session, language proficiency seal of biliteracy, that refers to world language and that it is inclusive of foreign languages, indigenous languages, and sign language. So making the changes all throughout that statute with both of those bills provides for some very good alignment. And I thank the committee for its time on this bill.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody online? Okay, we'll close public testimony, and we've got an amendment here that I think comes from the RSO. Senator Ellis, do you wish to-
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I received a note from LSO. As you know, we've been working on House Bill 9, which deals with some programs administered by the Business Council that making sure we're inclusive of both of our tribes. And so this would just be a conforming amendment to make sure that there's consistency throughout. So it's a technical amendment.
Okay. Move the amendment. Moved. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
On House Bill 110 engrossed, Senator Beitman.
Aye.
Senator Ellis.
Aye.
Senator Rothfuss left his proxy vote. He's an aye. Senator Salazar
Aye.
and Chairman Scott.
Aye.
On House Bill 10 engrossed, that would be 5 ayes, do pass amended.
Okay. Very simple bill. Audience, that's just the bare frames of the mechanics. Usually it takes longer than this and it's more complicated.
Mr.
So,
Chairman.
yeah.
I was hoping we'd have more debate, like fierce debate on this. I'm really sorry, audience. This is a pretty
They should have
boring
been-
bill.
Should have been here the other day when we did the Hathaway. And I think did very good work on that. We're seeking to get a 20% increase in the size of the Hathaway scholarship. And that's going to be on general file this morning upstairs in the Senate, where we raised the amounts 20% and build up the expenditure account with a 14 million appropriation so we can afford it going forward. And I think the Appropriations Committee is going to object to that, and we'll have a good debate upstairs. So,